with Hans India Web Conversations, and we have with us Benjamin, the JCB Prize winning author. And I have recently finished reading his new book. So, hello, Benjamin. Welcome
Hello,
to
good
Hans
morning.
India. Yeah, welcome to Hans India Web Conversations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
As I was just saying, I wanted to read a little bit from the new book, but I was not very sure. But I'll just tell the audience the premise of the new book. As everyone knows, Benjamin, he has written Jasmine Days. He's a Malayalam writer, and who has been translated into English language. And his book, The Goat Days in Malayalam, has won the Kerala Sahitya Academy Award. And later his book Days, which also, though funny, it has similar name but definitely a different premise altogether. It has actually won the debut JCB prize in translation. And currently, I think the latest news from Benjamin is that he has written this book for HarperCollins. In fact, let me just announce for HarperCollins that Benjamin has signed up for 3 books with HarperCollins. I think congratulations to HarperCollins. Congratulations also for having a wonderful book on their hand, Body and Blood. So it's about Mithun, who has an accident, and he has this is in Delhi. He has an accident, which is a minor accident, but suddenly he turns fatal, and all his organs are donated away. And there are his friends, Ritu, Ragesh, and Sandhya, and all of them are actually, they kind of get to a point where they start suspecting the reason for Mithun's death. It has all the trappings of a thriller. And yes, it is about organ donation, and as you can see, and it could have been a regular thriller, but I think with Benjamin, the whole aspect of his books is that the books look like having a certain premise, but there's so much in between. And in his own words, he says, sorry, Benjamin, I'm taking a little bit more of your time.
It's okay.
This is about your book. He says, organ trafficking and spiritual trading are 2 of the worst things that can happen in our time. Through my novel, Body and Blood, I try to bring them to society's attention. That's what he has done. And this book is as much about organ trafficking as it is about, in fact, I'm so sorry, I just said organ donation, which is a very noble deed indeed. But I think the darker side of it is the trafficking that happens. And within the story, Benjamin brings in this aspect of the many truths of religion, and which also was the premise in Jasmine Days to a certain extent. So, Benjamin, I would like to start by asking you, what is your view of religion? Because I know you talk about spirituality and religion, and there's so much space in between. So, what is religion according to you, Benjamin?
For me, religion, and we have to see in 2 different ways, because as a society, we need religion for association, gatherings, and social things, and so many rituals we are going. That is one part of the religion. We are moving as a social animal. We should need a social gathering. I am considering the church as a social gathering place and mingling place and associating place. But at the same time, the spirituality is entirely different from the so-called religion. Many are thinking that these are are very closed one. I think it is far away from each other. The church and the religion is staying somewhere, and the spirituality is far away from the church. So we need to, if you need to go to search the God or the real spirituality, we have to be alone, we have to be in prayer, we have to be in meditation, like that. So we need both, maybe. As a person, as a social animal, we need both, but we have to differentiate these 2, and we don't want to sell spirituality through the church. Nowadays it is happening like that. The church is selling the spirituality, and we are the wholesaler sailor of the the spirituality. So I am differentiating these 2 and seeing in a different views. This is what my opinion on the religion and the spirituality.
Yeah, it has become a commodity and we become consumers in a way.
Yeah, it become we are becoming a consumer, and they are selling it in different ways. Especially in Christianity, it is selling in different ways, and it is we all know that what is happening around the world to the evangelism and to the televangelism, and so many tradings are going on around us. So as a writer, I told I have to tell about this one, and we have to be keen about the differentiate these two, the religion and spirituality. This is what I wrote this book.
And the title of the book also, I think, especially the English title, takes from the Bible.
Yeah, it is actually the Jesus itself telling that the church is my body and I am the blood. So it is from the Bible itself, the body and blood. It means the relation between the church and the God. But nowadays these two are differentiating, and it is entirely different part. So that's why I choose the title from the Bible.
Yeah. Also, Benjamin, I have seen that your books, I have read 3 of your books, and all the books, I feel that, yes, they are fiction, they are stories of people, they are about emotions, they are about relations. But there's so much in between. I think there's so much of a contemporary context in all your books, especially the Jasmine Days and of course, even the Good Days. So, what do you think is your definition of fiction? I think this whole debate about fiction, whether it has to be, if it becomes too much of too much of history or too much of the current situation, does it cease to be a fiction? Or, I mean, what's the thin line between both?
Nowadays, fiction is not for entertainment or time pass or anything. I think nowadays fiction is for the political activity or political statement. I think say that. But we have to add for the fiction. We have to add history. We have to add so many current things to the fiction. Otherwise, it should be a mere story. Nowadays nobody don't want a simple story, because for entertainment we have so many other mediums are available. But from reading, what you are gaining is very important nowadays, because we are, as a reader, we are spending so many times on the book, and at the end of the book what you are gaining, what is how you felt it, this is very important. So in addition to the fiction or in addition to simple story, I am adding some elements to the story for the readers. Now it is, that's why I'm telling that the storytelling is a political activity nowadays, because politics doesn't mean it is a current affair on the situation also, but the politics on the people, politics on the religion, politics on the minority, politics on the sideline people. We have to tell that through the story. I don't want to interfere the story, uh, adding the history and adding the documents on larger scale, and it should not be a boring item, but it should mingle with the main story. And in between the lines, I am trying to tell these are the things happening around us, and we have to be keen, because the cinemas or some other things, nobody touching these elements. They are in a dream world, and they are not touching such things. But uh, we writers should say this one, and we should address these things. That's why I am writing this. This is what I am, for me this is what the fiction.
So, is it also that this whole thing about writing from our lives, is it like in terms of Indian fiction especially? Do you think it's happening? Thankfully, so it's happening more from the states. I wouldn't want to say regional languages. I would want to say Indian languages more than in English. I mean, this is in context of the books or the literature coming out of India. So you think it's happening more in the states, from the state, the Indian languages like Malayalam, Tamil, and of course we also have a lot of good books coming from Telugu. So
Yeah, because in earlier days, the readers itself thought that maybe before 10 years or 15 years back, we thought that the Indian English literature is the mainstream literature, and we all regional languages are in second level or something like that. We never consider these are the mainstream language literature. But nowadays, every reader know that if you want to know more about India, if you want to more about the essence of India, we have to read the regional language literature. If it is in Malayalam, Tamil or Telugu or Bengal, but the real essence of India is stay there. We are getting more powerful stories from. That's why it is translating much better than ever before. Nowadays, every publisher is seeking for the good books in regional language. This is a awareness happening around the readers, and they knew that real stories are there. That's why it is happening.
So, and thankfully, we are having these translations into English. Again, these translations are not happening for every language, and it's happening. And I can see a lot of Malayalam books being translated. A lot of, I mean, there are some Tamil books being translated. A lot of literature from Bengal, the old and new literature is getting translated. So what do you think the regional languages, and I mean, they should do, or what do you think the regional writers should do to bring forward a wider readership to their books? Or I mean, what kind of approach should they take, and what is lacking in other languages that they are not able to reach out to wider
First of all, as a writer, I have to say that when we are writing something, we have to address a common reader. Many of the regional writings are lacking for the readability to the other society. When you are writing something, we have to address someone. That addressing should be to the common world. But the problem is in many of the languages we cannot communicate to the other communities or other language people, because when we are communicating to the other people, other readers, we have to elaborate something, we have to develop something, we have to explain something. For a Malayali, it should be very easy to communicate, maybe with one or two words. But for another community, when we are reading from Assam, or when we are reading from Bengal, it should be very alien community. So we have to be very different approach to the readers. So it should be considered by the writer or the translator. The translator should be addressed to the world, not to the community. Maybe the writer is addressing to a small community or a small language world, but it should be different. So that is very important. It should communicate to everyone. That is, when we are writing, we should think about a common reader. If somebody reading from the Latin America, they should understand that what we are telling about. So such a wide vision should be in our mind when we are writing itself. Then the translation part, we need to choose from the different languages, and we don't know each other. That is the very pathetic thing in India, because nobody knows what is happening in Malayalam and what is happening in Telugu. Only through the translation only we know each other, and we know what is happening in between us. So the translation is very important, and I think the more publishers should come to the translation process, and it will help us more, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, when I read some of your lines and some of the situations, I totally feel that, of course, there is a bit of loss in translation, but it should be minimum if a translator, I think, works around as you said, the whole context and brings in to a wider readership. And I must congratulate you on choosing a good translator for that matter.
Yeah. The translation is very important, and translator is very important, because he or she should be addressing to the whole world, and in such a way we have to translate the book. Otherwise, it should be the translated book itself be a regional book. So we need to be a international book. So it is very important to translate very keenly, and very addressing to the whole world.
I think that comes from the person whose book is one of the most popular books worldwide, and he is actually kind of a I mean, thanks to authors like Benjamin, we now know that it is possible that regional language literature from India has readership. It's just about how you present it. So let me come back to your book, The Goat Days, Benjamin. It's about, to the audience who've not read the book, it's about Najib Muhammad. It's based on a real story of an Indian engineer. He may not be sorry, he's not in India, but he's an immigrant. And he's lost somewhere. He goes to Saudi Arabia with his dreams in his eyes after his marriage, and he's lost somewhere. And he actually was living a very pathetic life of almost equal to the goats. That's what we read in his book. His master keeps him in a very bad, sad situation, in a very bad. He stays in the open. He just has one set of clothes to wear, and that kind of a life he leads. And he becomes one with the goats, and he speaks to the goats. And the story is about how he finally manages to escape the whole situation. And that book basically is right now, of course, it's got a wide readership and got its awards, and it's being made into a film. I think the film shooting is actually almost completing. If it was not for the lockdown, we would have been seeing the film with one of the most famous actors of Malayalam film industry, Priyadarshan, right?
Yeah.
And,
Prithviraj.
yeah, Prithviraj, sorry.
Yeah.
Prithviraj, and then it has music by A.R. Rahman, and you have none other than Rasul Pokoti the camera. He's handling the camera, right? So it's
going to be Pokoti is in the sound, and K.U. Mohan is in the camera.
Yeah. Okay. So so this is. I'm so sorry. I just was reading about it, and I saw the trailer of the movie, and I wish I could see more of it. And so coming back to Goat Days, I was just reading your books, and kind of the way the kind of conversations you have with your cast. I somehow kind of thought it was almost like the Najib talking to his goats. Are those your questions? When you ask those questions, when there is how do your characters develop, and how do you speak to us through them? This is about the process of writing, but maybe if you could.
Yeah. Actually, the Najib is a real character, and I met excellently with him, and I knew that it is a different story from the Gulf, because many of us knew only the lightened part of the Gulf, and the beautiful stories. Whoever go there, and within 2 or 3 years they will become a rich man and coming back. But there are so many different stories, and bad stories are in the Gulf. So as a writer, I was there for around 20 years. And I should tell about that also as a real writer. Otherwise, I should not hide something for somebody's benefit. So I thought that Najib's story is the best one to choose to tell about world regarding the Gulf life, and 90% of the people are living such a pathetic life. Like, it is not same as Najib. He's lived in desert, and but so many similar type of stories we can find from the Gulf. So it was very very familiar to me, such a life, because I was also there. I went through so many incidents there, and I know what is loneliness, how the mumbiness feeling in our heart, and so it is almost a story of my own, because Najib's story is there, his experience is there, but the thought, the ideas, visions, views, all from my mind, because I become the Najib, and I started to act like Najib, and then we become together in certain point, and we cannot separate Najib and Benjamin from the story. We are together because I was there and he was also there. His experience is there, my own experience is there, my views and vision is there, his thought is there. So I mixed all together and I wrote the book. So otherwise, it should be an alien story to anyone, because somebody feel that the story is their own story. They are passing through the story. Means it felt very much, because I felt very much to the to the Najib, and I felt I am the Najib. So that's why I become the character. Uh, this is the way I wrote the story, and I thought every writer should that way, because we should the writer should be in one point we become the character itself, and then we will start to think about how the character will act, how what is the reaction, how in such situation how he will respond, like that. This is the way I write always, and in Najib case it was so personal to me itself. That's why it felt to the readers very much, I think so.
But when I say you contextualize everything to the contemporary times, I think we all have a little bit of Najib in ourselves. And we are living in current times. We need
Yeah,
not be an
yeah.
immigrant. Even living in India, I think all of
Wherever
us.
we live, we should have such kind of loneliness is there, alienation is there, such kind of job issues are there. Uh, Once I got an email from Bangalore, so many young guys sent, a group of young guys sent, and they told, we are also the sheeps living in an IT company. We are the sheeps, and our manager is the arbab, and our office is the master. Same like that, people are connecting the things to their own life. That's why they enjoyed the reading. Otherwise they are telling that, oh, it is a different story, it was happened somewhere far away, but they are feeling that it is happening in us also. So that's why it got a wider readership.
In fact, when people stay as immigrants outside India, this was also touched upon in your book, Jasmine Days, about how an immigrant is usually a little indifferent to the politics of the land and disconnected with the politics and reality of his own land. Do you see that happening more often now? Because we do have the context coming in about NRAs and their views and their support and everything else in a lot of aspects. But what is your view of that?
Actually, we cannot group all the immigrants or NRIs in a same group, because whoever migrated to Europe or America, Australia, or some other countries, they are in a different group, and we can segregate the Gulf group is a separate in a different group, because they are labor contractors or labor supply contract laborers. We can say that they are temporary people. They doesn't have any authority, any
Any rights?
rights, any rights at all, because how many years we live there is not a problem, not a matter at all. Every 2 years we have to renew the visa, and we should be continued like that. Who are migrated to Europe or migrated America, they become the nationalities of that country, and they get all the rights from the country. But here in this case in Gulf, they are just laborers, contract laborers. They don't have any rights. So the issue is so intensive in that case, because they lived from their own country, from their own place, and lived in a separate country. The community is not accepting them at all. They are uh, in a different world. So the issues is contrast is very much in Gulf countries.
And now we have the threat of
Uh,
a lot of them losing jobs. Hello,
they
I
are
think.
telling that, yeah, the issues are very nowadays it is the situation is much badder, because the Gulf countries are going in a bad shape. The financial situation is going wiser, and so many people, around 1 lakh people lost their job. The salary is cut around about 40 percentage, and many companies are saying that you should go for a long leave, and whenever we need, we will call you back. The issue is the oil price is getting down, and
Yes.
the countries are facing a big financial crisis. So the migrants in Gulf countries are facing a big problem ever in the history of migration to the Gulf. From early 50 onwards, maybe from last 17 years, we lived with many people, millions of people lived there, with their money, but now it is almost going to finish. This is a crucial situation, especially for the Kerala, because we know that almost 1/3 of the people are living abroad, and they were mostly in the Gulf countries, and it is a big problem we are going to face in near years. But we have to overcome these things, and this is the normal financial
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
So also, let me just go back to your days in Bahrain, how you had to come back, or you decided to come back when the book was banned. Was Godez banned in the Gulf? How, and that is one question. Uh, um, second is that yes, you came back and you started writing, and the context has changed. So do you think here in India, you have written a few books, but going forward, do you think a writer has the freedom of not fearing there is any I was just asking you that, is there a freedom, do you think there's enough freedom for you to write on every subject that you choose to, and how does one as a writer operate with this fear of, because you have an example of Perimal Murugan, for example. His book was banned and he stopped writing for a long time. So yes, can you talk about that?
Yeah, I left Bahrain. I was in Bahrain. We left 2013. It is not because of banning of Goddays, because the book was published in 2008 and the translation came out in 2012, and book banished banned in this period. But I wrote the novel Jasmine Days later in
okay.
2014.
Okay.
But the material collected starting from the 2010 to 11 onwards, and then I thought that I cannot write this novel from such a country, because already one book is banned, and the political situation is bad there, and censoring is too much there. It is very difficult to write very genuinely that book. If I am writing the book from that country, I should cut so many parts, and I should censor myself. It is not a good for a writer. As a writer, I don't want to cut myself, or I don't want to censor myself. So I choose. I thought I have to leave from there and live in India, and I wrote that book, and it is also banned in the Gulf countries. But the situation in in India is much badder than in Gulf countries now. See the political power, the religion, the caste. Everybody is on behind of writers. Many are killed. Many are stopped, and so many things are happening around us. So, but what I am thinking is we have to every writer should be keen on that one, and we should be very courageous, because we have to see the previous writers who were lived and give us good books, or crossed such a situation every year. Every political power, every religion was like this only. We can think from last 500 years, how many are killed, how many are jailed, how many are hanged, and how many are staked. Still the writers was very courageous to say their own words. That's why we got many great books. Otherwise, we cannot get such a great book. So we should be very courageous against such people, such power. Then only we can write something. If you are fear to write something, if you are fear to open up our words, then we cannot write openly, or we cannot get a good book. So we should be very courageous. This is what I am thinking, that there are so many dangerous situations is there. Still we have to move forward to write something. This is what I am thinking.
So coming back to the characters in your book, be it in the Jasmine Days or in the current book, the Body and Blood, the women characters in your books have a certain viewpoint. There is so much you talk through them about the situation of women. So who's your inspiration? Like you say, all your characters most of your characters are from people you know, or a lot from within you. So who are your inspiration for your women characters? In
There are
fact, even in,
so many friends around me, and my in family also. There are so many courageous women. I am seeing that. Otherwise, it is also my dream that every woman should be like that. This is what I am making the character. I don't want to a crying character. A woman is always crying and should be below the male character. Not like that. This is my dream. And also I met so many courageous women in my life also. So from there I collect all these things. Yeah.
yeah. So from this book, would you like to talk about any particular character? Because yes, there are these. I think more than the protagonist, I see a lot of additional characters coming and going, which also have a strong impact in your book. In every book of yours, there is a central. There are some central characters, but there's so much happening around them, which is the actual story. So I thought that was very interesting, and that makes your book complex, that makes your book different, and that makes your book so impactful that we remember it even the next day. It's still in your head the whole day after you finish reading it. So basically, would you like to talk about any characters like that from this book of yours, the current book?
No, actually, in this book, I cannot say that this is any protagonist on this story. I think 4 or 5 of them are equally important characters, and equally we can say that they were the protagonist, not a single person. Because it is the book is about the young generation and their life, and so I thought that the view of a single character is not good, and view of a different character from different perspective is good for this book, because whenever I am writing, the angle of the book is very important. Mostly main character will tell the main story, and it will continue that. In this book, I am uh, telling the story from different angle by different characters, so it should be very equal each other. I don't think one character is very important and others are sidelined, not like that. So each of them are very important, and they 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 made the story very much stronger, I think so, so that.
So what kind of writer are you? I mean, these characters, this whole premise emerges as you go on writing. How is or do you have the entire thing in your already? You have decided your this is going to be the way the story goes.
No, there is a framework is there, should be there, and I have some ideas on the book. I know that what I should write and what are the ideas I have to portray on the book, but slowly I developing the characters. Whenever the story moves, the new characters will come, and then I know that these characters is very important for the previous chapters also. So I rewrite the previous chapters, and this is a continuous process, and going forward and coming backward, and I make improvement on the character. Then I write forward little bit, then it will come back. This is a that this is the way I am making the character. Then at the end of the story, when I completed the first phase, then I give more clarification on the each character, like that. This is the way I am writing.
Yeah. Also, I was just thinking just one more thing about your characters, which I was just wanting to tell you that there is no hero or a villain in your stories. It's a situation. Yes, of course, there are some bad people who are doing some bad things, but at the end of the book, or rather, is the end is actually not the end. So I wanted to ask you, why do you? I mean, why don't you give a story where there is a okay, everything is sorted out, there's the whole mystery is solved, and everybody goes home happily? I mean, your
I
endings
don't
are
think
usually
that
open ended.
the book is end with the end of the last page. It should be continuing. The characters are living again, and the story is moving on. So it should be continuing by in the reader's mind. I don't want to say that the writer stopped the story and this is the end of the story. The reader should keep engage with the characters, and they think they must think that what happened to them, and then only the story is alive in their own mind. Otherwise, it is an end. So finish. Nobody will bother about the story in further days. So, but I think that the story should be stay with them some more days. So I don't want to. The book is the end. The story should continue with them.
You were successful at doing that, at least for me. So, and are you already working on the next book? I mean, when can we expect it out? Can we get a sneak peek into it?
Yeah, actually, for the HarperCollins, I am doing a collection of my short stories. I do write almost 40 or 50 short stories. I collect some of them and doing a translation for the HarperCollins. Then I am doing an anthology from the Malayalam modern literature. Almost 25 writers are gathering together, and we are presenting a good stories from last 20 years. These two are the books for the HarperCollins I am doing, but myself I am planning a novel on the migration in different perspective. There are so many migration novels are around us. So in woman perspective, I am trying to write a novel on that. But just preparing that one and collecting the material and preparing the characters like that. In a very early stage, I have to go a long way. This is
That's true. In fact, that was going to be my next question. I think those two books are going to be very important books. Especially, I was going to ask you, what about your short stories? When are you getting them translated? Now, I also have the answer. So, also, can I know about your reading preferences, Benjamin? I mean, what do you read?
I read almost all fictions, and earlier days I was a good reader because of reading only I came to the writing field. Because in the earlier in my college days or school days, I never thought that I become a writer at all. But after when I went to Gulf, I got so many free times and I started reading, and still I think that I am a good reader. I read more than what I write. So I read good fictions and what is happening around us, new styles, new visions, how the new writers portraying the new stories, and every day the world is changing. So we have to read more and more to know about what is happening around us. Then only we can write, and we should be a contemporary writer. Otherwise, we should be lagged back. So I have to be very updated. So I read more, and nowadays for my own writing purpose, I do so many reading related to the subject what I choose. These are my reading.
Straight English novel anytime soon.
No, no,
Basically, that's your
I
comfort
can't
language.
even write Malayalam very well. Then how can I go for the English? I am very poor in English, but there are so many good translators are around us. So let them translate and give to the English reader. I should write in Malayalam only.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you. And thank you for agreeing to spend so much time with us. I hope all our readers get to read the new book also. And if you haven't, please buy it. I think right now we are all reading online, but hopefully we get a physical copy soon, because that's the way of reading, at least for me. And thank you so much, Benjamin. It was wonderful speaking to you. And it was as exciting as reading your novel. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Hans, and thank you, Rajeshri. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.